Okay, you guys should all hear me now. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, everyone? How about now? The guy at Verizon. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for taking a look at that. Unfortunately, I think that means like all our viewers are gone. Oh well. Welcome to the Savage Goose Show. My name's Goose. This week on the Savage Goose Show, we're going to talk about all things Savage Worlds in the past week, and we're going to talk about how to make Kenku inside of Savage Worlds. Well, I have my own reason for that. We have some. I'll talk about why. I'm all thrown off because my mic was off now. We'll talk about why I'm trying to make a Kenku inside Savage Worlds, but I want to do that with you all and also take a look at how Ancestries are made inside Savage Worlds. I think the Savage World system for making Ancestries is very clean compared to some other systems where I think a lot of those systems just don't give you a way to make Ancestries. And I think it's really cool that they do so inside Savage Worlds. So we are going to be talking about how to make a Kenku. If you have any ideas, leave in the comments. I'll talk about why, and can we all go through this all together when we get to that section. But first, let's talk about the newsletter. First thing on the newsletter, the Savage Worlds Fans Companion is coming to Roll20. So people over at Metamorphic, who partners with Pinnacle to do a lot of the VTT assets for Savage Worlds products, they've released Fans Companion to Roll20. If I ever do use, I should say not ever, but Roll20 is the one I use a lot because it just requires you to have a web browser. So I think it's really easy to use. So that's one of my, I won't say my preferred one, but it's one I tend to use a lot. I'd say my preferred one is Albar Rodeo because Albar Rodeo is just so stinking simple. But I think having on Roll20 is actually it's just a really good idea. And Roll20 is connected to Drive-Thru RPG. So that's good to see. Mad World for Deadlands Lost Colony launches next Tuesday. If you're into Deadlands Lost Colony, if you're into post, I'll say sci-fi horror, sci-fi horror, then Deadlands Lost Colony is the game for you. If this is a campaign for like a plot point campaign for Lost Colony, so check that out. That's coming out next Tuesday on the 25th at noon Eastern time. So in case you're wondering. The official Foundry VTT marketplace has arrived. So if you're familiar with Foundry, there wasn't like necessarily a centralized marketplace before where you get all your modules for your stuff Foundry, and now there is one. You can just go to this marketplace and you can just download and buy all of the Foundry modules that you need right there, and you can just makes it really easy. And as part of the arrival of the marketplace, a lot of the modules and such are 15% off. So if you want to get some stuff for Foundry at a discount for Savage Worlds or any other game, you can go over to the Foundry VTT marketplace and check that out. Here we go. Moving on, crowdfunding Pathfinder for Savage Worlds Bestiary and more for Hebrew. So if you know how to speak Hebrew, I don't know how to speak Hebrew. I know how to read biblical Hebrew. Somewhat. A lot of that skill is lost on me now. I haven't been keeping up with it. But if you know how to read Hebrew and want some Hebrew stuff for your Savage Worlds games, a lot of the Savage Worlds content is coming to Hebrew through a Kickstarter or some sort of, I guess it's called a Head Start crowdfunding page. So check that out. Swag Spotlight is Scent of Magic for Savage Worlds. We're going to talk about this a little bit more later, but this is part of the Fast, Furious, Fun February Creator Jam, which seems to be going well. I've seen a lot of different products coming out for it already, and it gets me excited. And that's why our new product section is going to be a bigger piece of the session tonight. Let's see here. Convention news. Savage Worlds at MythicCon West 2025. Next weekend, that is February 28th through March 2nd. MythicCon West takes over the Doubletree by Hilton in Asheville, Biltmore. Yeah. For 3 exciting days of RPGs, vendors, board games, etc. And Jody and Clint Black will be there, who are going to be running sessions for their Fane LA game. If you haven't seen that interview, you can check out 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, and where we talked with them. So go check that out. There's some information about the game that they're going to be running, which is going to be Bonfire Night. So yeah, check that out. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I wish I could go to a convention. There's one convention coming up here in Pennsylvania locally that I'm going to try to go to. Probably just for Friday though. And there's no Savage Worlds games running. So I'm going to have to go to a Shadow Dart game and maybe a Mork board game. I've never been to a convention before where I played games like this before, so that's why I'm not running anything, because I haven't gone to one of these. So I feel like I need to go to one before I can run some games. So we'll see what that looks like. And here is our crowdfunding status report. Science Fiction Companion is shipping, which means everything else should be ETA of like March. All right, so shipping now for US. Sorry, ETA for the rest of the world is March. The file files have been delivered for the Pathfinder booster campaign. The reprints for Rifts has been delivered. Deadlands for the Abominable Northwest is taking late pledges, and then Lost Colony next week. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump over. Where am I? I'm missing a. Where is missing a window? Nope. I may have accidentally closed the window that I wanted to have all of my stuff on. Let's take a look here. One second, guys. I apologize. So let's go ahead and jump back over to the. I am so confused. Clearly, it's having a bad. I'm having a bad night, guys. I apologize. Let's see here. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. Let's go and just close that. There we go. Too many windows open. Give me some hard times. All right. So no other news. Kickstarters. Actually, before we get to Kickstarters, let's go and talk about some new products that came out this past week. There was a lot of new products this past week. Everyone out there is releasing a lot of stuff, which is fun to see. Some of these are just kind of products that are coming out for Savage Worlds that were like through Kickstarters and stuff, and they're just releasing them. So we'll go and start there. Starbreaker's Saints and Sinners core is released. If you want to get the PDF or any of the books for it, you can go ahead and do so now. I'm pretty excited for this. I got my coupon code to get at cost through the Kickstarter, so I'm looking forward to just getting that. That's actually the thing that's sitting in my cart right now. I haven't quite hit the buy yet, but it's in my cart. This is a sci-fi setting from Star Anvil Studios, and it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. There is a quick start for this as well, so if you're interested in this but want to do the quick start first, you can do so. Should be a link down below to all of these products if you're interested in them. The next product is from John Doom. I don't know if John Doom's in the chat, but it is Garden Gnome Massacre. This is a one-shot adventure doing like a little small horror game with garden gnomes and lots of scary stuff. So this is part of the Fast Furious Fun February 2025, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So check that out as well. That's in the description down below. The Prodigy Protocol is a cyberpunk one-shot from Atomic Ninja Studios. Atomic Ninja Studios releases a lot of different one-shots through their One-Shot Wonder series, and they all look like they are a lot of fun. A lot of these can either be played on their own, or you can slot them into your existing games if that makes sense for them. And some of these are in a series where you could actually play through like the whole entire campaign with just the adventures that are in like a particular series. Like I think they're Smash, I think it's called the Smash series of one-shots are all about like medical vehicles, but in like a futuristic military game. So check that out. And here we have Scent of Magic. This is part of, again, Fast Furious Fun February. It is a 2-page one-shot where a bunch of mages are missing their stuff, their magical substance called axonite, to power their wondrous contraptions. So fantasy game, magic, you got to go look for some stuff. There's some like not cyberpunk, like steampunk-esque things going on here. We get technological advances. So take a look at that. Looks like a little fun little game to play. This next one, I haven't heard anything about this, but it looks super interesting, and that is the Jumpstart for 9 Worlds RPG for Savage Worlds. This is a Norse-inspired cyberpunk. Talk about genre mashing. This is a Norse-inspired cyberpunk, and that sounds super cool. Like it makes me think of Thor: Love and Thunder a little bit, but with more tech. So yeah, you play as Vikings. which sounds cool. So there's a video. I'm not gonna play it right now, but this looks super interesting to see. So I'm gonna have to grab this at some point, but or just wait for the Kickstarter or whatever they're gonna do with it, because it looks, and I think the art looks really good too. So I'm pretty excited about that. Like, that just looks good. As long as the art like stays consistent throughout the book, this look really good. So, anyways, next up is the Pew Pew for a few more credits more, or a few credits more. There we go. That's what it says. This is from Fainting Goat Games. This is part of their Pew Pew line, which is a small setting. Kind of think like 80s action, science fiction style stuff. Very, very, I wouldn't say tongue in cheek, but doesn't take itself too seriously. But it's an additional adventure for that particular game series. So take a look at that if it's your jam. And lastly, we talked with these guys last week. This is Sidewinder Recoiled for Savage Worlds. This is a Western game to think like spaghetti Western type game, not Deadlands where all the weird West and everything. This is a very, for the most part, like a very much more normal style Wild West game for that kind of more down to earth Wild West. You can play either in the early 1800s where it's more you're exploring the Wild West, or you can play more in the late 1800s where it's more cowboys riding on horseback, that kind of thing. So if you're interested in that, there is a bundle that I'm looking at here for this, which gets you everything for Sidewinder Recoiled and PDF for, I think it's like $60, which is like, I think like it's off. It's like $15 cheaper. 20%, so said, yeah, 20% off. So check that out. I already have all this because it came with the Kickstarter that I did for them, and I'm actually waiting for my print books for this. So this will probably be something we'll look at in the future. All right, let's see here now. Heading back to our slides, let's talk about some Kickstarters. Ending next Tuesday is Beneath the Pyramid Shadow, which is a little small micro setting for Savage Worlds. Think cosmic horror apocalypse type stuff. So take a look at that. That's your jam. Mostly, if that's your kind of thing that you might be interested in, it makes you think a little bit like Call of Cthulhu, but maybe like more apocalypse. So yeah. Next Tuesday, Deadlands Lost Colony, Mad World. If you know, you know. We've already talked about it. I'm not gonna spend much time on it. Ending this Saturday is February 22nd is the Secret World North America expansion. This is for the Secret World RPG for both the 5e version and the Savage Worlds version. When you get your I think it's like your survey, you will choose which version you want. But this is Kickstarter going on currently. We only have a few more days left, so I highly recommend you go check that out. And actually, this month, the Secret World is our RPG Ace and Swag licensee spotlight. So this here is the core rulebook. This is the Templar cover. I don't have the normal cover because I got the cool Templar cover. I don't know what you expect from me. Got the cool Templar cover. And you play as the secret agents, essentially, who are fighting off monsters and cryptids and such throughout the world. And I've highlighted a few other sections in the previous weeks, but this time I want to mention is some of the monsters that you can see in the back of the book. The bestiary in this has some really interesting monsters. For instance, this one's just called Nathaniel Winter, but I think, and a lot of these are based on like lore from around the world or things that were in the video game. If you don't know, the Secret World is a MMORPG that you can still play through Steam. But there's things in here like the Chupacabra and the, I don't know if I can pronounce that, Black-Eyed Child. That's something that one of my players has talked about running in his games a lot, is the Black-Eyed Child. And now I have stats for it, so I can be like, hey Josh, there's this his name's Josh. Yeah, one of my best friends has the same name as me. But it's Josh, so it's, what it is. There's so many of us. My neighbor's name is Josh. Like, it's just, there's so many Joshes. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, my name is actually Josh, not Goose, but everyone calls me Goose because there's too many Joshes in the world. So anyways, Black-Eyed Children, Chupacabras, Cult of Aten. Let's see here. The Deep One. There were some other ones here. I saw. Where are you? Some of those are specific from the game. Point being is that these are some really cool, interesting monsters in the back of this book, and to go along with everything else. So even if you get this and maybe you decide for some reason, I mean, after you got it, you're like, you know, I don't play Secret World. There is some really cool monsters in here and some really cool edges and abilities and other things that just make the game really interesting. And I love seeing these kind of products because they showcase how you can add in your own systems to Savage Worlds that don't feel completely out of place. I think sometimes when people add in like custom things to other systems like D&D or whatever, a lot of times they feel out of place. They feel like they fit into the system, but it's so easy to do that when you in Savage Worlds. It's just so easy to add in a system that fits with Savage Worlds. So that's the Secret World RPG. And if you're interested in getting the North America expansion, you can check out the Kickstarter down below. All right, I'm sorry, seeing a whole bunch of stuff going through here. So let's see what everyone's got. Hopefully, you guys are talking about how to make Kenku inside Savage Worlds. So let's go ahead and stop my screen share real quick. And actually, we're going to share screen something else. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up a Google Drive doc because we're going to do this together. I'm going to pull up. I have a PDF around here somewhere with my core rules. Nope, that's the wrong thing. There we go. My cool rule book for Savage Worlds here. And I'm also going to pull out my fantasy companion. Because we're going to use both of these books to make these this ancestry for Kenku. I also have my 5th edition 3.5, or sorry, my 5th edition Bull's Guide to Monsters, which includes the Kenku playable race to get an idea of what kind of abilities Kenku are supposed to have. I also have a few things pulled up here for 4th edition Kenku, 3.5 edition Kenku, 3.5 and 4th edition Kenku, just to see like what kind of things did they have that we want to try to incorporate into a ancestry inside of Savage Worlds. So let me get a Google Doc spun up here because that's just the easiest way to do this, and we can do this collaboratively. So let me give you some background on why I'm doing this though. A long time ago, I say like, I don't know, 5 years ago, maybe more actually. I'm not sure. I ran a 5th edition game where, no, sorry, I did not run the game. It was someone else. One of my sister-in-law ran a game for us in 5th edition where with a bunch of characters, and we've continued that world. And in that world, we switched over to Savage Worlds, the most recent versions. We had like Act 1 where my wife played a princess who was running away from her kingdom, and I was her like the person who's from her. Like, I worked for her dad, and I just took care of her as like a dragonborn sorcerer. And then our most recent one, we were doing it kind of like acts, right? So the first one, that was that one. Now she's the queen. Her dad passed away, and we were trying to help prevent like a bunch of slavery and bad things happening in the country. And then after we're done with this campaign, we're going to do another campaign where we're looking into, hey, where did magic come from? Or where did magic go, I should say. And one of the characters that was played in our first version, our 5th edition version of the game, was a Kenku assassin. And so one of the things that he's thought about doing is maybe bringing that character back into the most recent act of the game. Maybe, I'm not positive. But in order to do that, we need to create a Kenku ancestry for him so he can bring back that character. That character's name is Wushtong because it's the name of an arrow hitting wood. So it's not actually the name is not Wushtong. That's the actual sound, like something like that. So that's what we're doing. That's why we're here. That's why we're going to talk about it. We are going to be making it at a +2. So a +2 race, not a +4. I think Vinko was asking about that. Let's see here. Yes, yeah, things, as Vinko says, thing is, it's going to be used to in base Savage Worlds or Pathfinder Savage Worlds. One is +2, one is +4. Yep, that's actually completely accurate. If you look at Ancestries inside of Savage Pathfinder, they are +4 ancestries, not +2 ancestries. We've been using +2 ancestries for this game, just using the core rulebook and the fantasy companion. So we are going to be making this this character, this ancestry at a +2, not +4. Which I know a lot of people have been leaning towards the +4 ones more recently, but we're not. We're just doing +2. Get Gemini out of here. Get out of here, Gemini. All right, so we're gonna need some positive attributes, and we're gonna need some negative attributes. Now, the thing to me that is I should just say negative. I don't need to put positive. There we go. The thing for me that is the most positive thing about Kenku is their mimicry ability. So let me go and pull up this version here. And let's pull up some Kenku. Oh no. Too many books on the page on here. All right, let's see here. Kenku are on page 109. So that's ready already. Oh well. And Kenku state that for mimicry, you can mimic sounds you have heard, including voices. A creature that hears the sound you make can tell they are imitations, or with a successful wisdom insight check opposed by your charisma deception check. So the question that we're trying to figure out now is, okay, what is that? How do we do that? And that's going to be, I think, the hardest part of making this. Let's see here, going to go through some comments to make sure no one else said anything so far. Yes, Kenku. Yes, this is creating ancestries. A little different than creating a character. But yes, we'll make some country. Shadow Chaser says, I go with +4 to get that D&D feel, but the humans need a +2 boost. That is true. If we did go with the +4 route, and maybe we could do both. Maybe we could just say, hey, if you're doing +4, here's this additional thing, or maybe what I tend to do is just say, get rid of this one penalty if you want to do +4. Just like make them don't have this penalty, and then it's a +4. But if we do that, all of the characters in our game will need a boost. So my wife's character, who's playing the queen, she'd have to get a boost from human, which would be easy enough. It'd just give her like a 1 attribute die increase. Then my dragonborn character that I already also homebrew the ancestry for, not homebrew, but use the ancestry rules for. If you're not familiar with ancestry rules, let me go and pull up. Why is this on that page? Let me pull up this real quick. Ancestry. Oh, ancestries. Make ancestries. So let me go actually share this real quick instead. So we're going to stop sharing screen. Present. Okay. So here's how we make ancestries. Basically, there's a bunch of attributes that are point based, right? And then there's also some negative ones as well. So between these pages, as well as the ones I have, like the Fantasy Companion, we can make it an ancestry based on these. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to create that. So first we want to do is the mimicry. And I don't think that there is going to be an ability that is going to, or any sort of like ancestry ability that's going to really match up to the mimicry ability of Kenku. And I thought there was new ancestry options here, and I'm not seeing them. Are they on this page? There it is. No. Yeah, no. So I think what we might have to end up doing is actually creating one completely new. And I think the ability is going to be a 2. So we're going to call this mimicry. We're going to give it 2 points. And I'll just kind of share this screen now instead. Is a bird the fancy going to have mimicry? Oh, is it like a bird, or is it an ancestry? Because I did not see any ancestries that had this ability. Doors, elemental scions. Shadow Chaser, please tell me what you're talking about, because if there is, that makes my life so much easier. These work orders. Oh, it's in the best area. Okay. Perfect. Thank you all. Because see, this is what I need. This is what we're doing. We're trying this together. So in the best area, there's a bird that has this ability. That makes sense. So let's go ahead and jump to the back, because then we could probably just use that ability as what we want to do for their mimicry ability. So here we got red caps here. We got Saurians. Nope. Serpent folks. We got rangers. We got ratlings. Yeah, look that up. Now that's so we also do mimicry. I think it's gonna be a 2-pointer thing. They're also really good at forging documents. And one of the things I was thinking about and talking about with one of my other players is what do we do for forgery? Like if in game it doesn't come up for me, if you wanted to forge a document, what skill would you use? And his argument was that if it was a handwritten note, we would use persuasion, and if it was forging a document, maybe using thievery. Both of them I think are good options. However, there is something that makes me wonder if there shouldn't be something else, because to me, the idea of forging a document tends to be really smart. Like, it takes a lot of smarts to do this. I should probably hide Vinkel's thing. Sorry, Vinkel. Here we go. So we want to also make sure they have this forging ability, whatever that looks like. So we don't know what that is. Probably gonna be like adding in a skill. And skill additions are, how many points is that? Adding in a skill is 1 point per skill. All right, the character starts with a D4 and a skill inherent for 2 points. It starts with D6. The skills, yeah. So 1 point. I think it's just gonna be 1 point. It's not gonna be much more. They're also supposed to be really good at stealth. So if you look at like some other ones, like and then we may have to remove some of these abilities because there might be too many abilities here. But they're supposed to be good at stealth. So maybe a stealth skill or a stealth increase for like 1 point, maybe. And they also are usually really good at helping each other. And that's coming from some previous editions, not the 5th edition, but they tend to be very good at it's called like flock tactics in 5th edition. And then in 3.5, they had an ability called Great Ally. So I think for that one, we can either give the edge of reliable. So reliable edge, or we could give it the character version of Path Tactics, where it's like you add in your it's not Path Tactics, it's something else, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Formation Fighter, that's what it is. So one of those. I'm leaning towards reliable because I think it's definitely more of a. It's really good at the Kenku is really good at support roles. So I think we might just go with that. And then we have negatives. One of the things is that they are not very strong. So not strong. Not sure what we'll do with that. And they tend to be weaker. And so I also thought maybe giving the frail ability from the list abilities here. So I'm going to check my chat real quick. Performance or thievery? Yeah. They basically have Rabble Rouser and Taunt. Oh, Taunt. Interesting. Sometimes described as mimicking, and it's not how but that's how I role play. Okay, got it. Fed. Hey, I am new to Savage and kind of been following for a while, but I just gained my first one shot 2 weeks ago, and there's a lot I don't know. What's the purpose of changing Ancestry? It's not that we're changing Ancestries, it's that we are building an Ancestry, because Savage Worlds has straightforward rules on how to build your own Ancestry. They give you a lot of Ancestries as options, but Savage Worlds is a toolbox game. They want you to be able to do pretty much anything you want in the game. And so one of the things that they build into the game to kind of help you out in creating whatever ancestries makes sense for your setting is giving you a way to do so simply. So there is, in the core rulebook, there's a page, 3 pages on like different things you can give your character to make them different things you can give your character to make them fit into your setting, adjust the ancestry and point values. You can give different abilities so that they can match out. So basically, just it's rules for ancestries inside the core rulebook, and there's rules for it inside of the Fantasy Companion as well. Let's see here. Forging is more of a fantasy side. I see thievery as the ultimate skill. Perfect. I see. Yeah, I think thievery is the way we want to go. I did think about maybe adding in just creating a skill. It's like, hey, you get a skill in forging, or I say forging, in forging documents, and it's just its own skill tied to smarts. But I'm always hesitant about creating additional skills. I think I rather if a new skill's be created, I rather one of my players do it. The other thing we could do is we could give bonuses. We say instead of new skills, we could just say, +2 to forgeries. Forgeries. That's how you spell it. +2 to thievery skill. The thievery, man, I can't spell or type at all today. Thievery when making forgeries. So I think that's probably how we want to do it instead of making just be like a starting with a certain skill. It's actually just giving them a bonus to it. And that would actually be, if you do a +2, that will be a 2-pointer. Oh, I would just put forgery under thievery. Vankel says it should be a reroll for forgery. Interesting. So we could do it. We could do a reroll, or we could do a +2. I'm personally leaning towards the +2 just because it makes it so there's less rolling. But I definitely want to hear you guys out. Shadow Chaser says, sorry. I'd allow someone with research academics to roll for it too. Shadow Chaser agrees, though. I like a reroll for forging attempts. Okay, so let's just do one free reroll on attempts on, and just to make it a little more skill agnostic, we'd say on skill rolls to one free reroll on skill rolls to, and I'm not making this for like a publication or anything, so I'm not worried about that. One free reroll for skill rolls to make forgeries. Hamster says there's a lot of precedent for reroll. Please, why is that? Tell me why that is. You, Hamster Doom, John Doom, you rank a lot of adventures for Savage World. So what's the precedent? I want to hear it, because there might be something that I'm just like obviously missing or something. Let's see here. So I think free reroll makes sense, and we could just make, like I said, we could make it say free reroll on skill rolls to make forgeries. Let it, if they want to make it academics or want to argue academics or research instead of thievery, that makes it so that it can still be done, and we're good, right? I would think that might be more of like a support role or something, but we'll see. As far as stealth, they for one, we are going to increase their starting stealth to a D6. Stealth instead of a D4. Okay. And we're just kind of brainstorming here, so. Judge says, yeah, there's a lot of edges and magic items that offer free rerolls on specific types of actions or targets of a skill use. That's fair. That makes sense. So we'll do a reroll instead. This is why I'm asking you guys, because that's a good idea. Yeah, it sounds good. All right, so do that. Mimicry. I feel like that in that case, for mimicry, if we're gonna do the same thing, then we can also say, one free reroll on performance rolls to I don't know, to deceive. Seems like a certain use case, because that's what I feel like it's happening. It's like this is like a particular use case that mimicry is used. I'll say this, because I want to be able to use this in bard areas too. 1 free reroll on performance rolls when mimicking noises you've heard. What do you guys think of that? Yeah, we could call it vocal mimicry. Rerolls also avoid stacking too many modifiers, since that's kind of how a GM influences the difficulty of an option. That's fair. It's a fair point. I'm glad you guys are here to help me up here. What do you guys think of this mimicry then? 1 free reroll on performance rolls when mimicking noises you've heard. That could be this way. I'm trying to make it more flexible so it can be used in multiple situations. Like it can be used if you're performing on a stage, but also could be used when you're trying to deceive someone in the middle of the woods that there's a small child in the middle of the woods that needs help, and you're trying to like lure them out there for some reason. Yeah, stuff like that. And then I had mentioned the I think we're going to go with the reliable edge as well, which is also 2 points. So we're looking at a +7 right now. So we need to get some stuff down. So let's go ahead and talk about some negative things. And by the way, please, if there's anything more you think I should add into the positive or remove, let me know. Are Kenku able to mimic a voice without repeating exact phrases, or can they only mimic exactly what they've heard? So let's go and read that real quick. Mimicry says here, this is in the 5th edition version, you can mimic sounds you have heard, including voices. A creature that hears the sounds you make can tell they are imitations with a successful wisdom, insight check, plus your charisma check. Okay, so that's what I say. It does say you can read and write and comment, and we can only speak only using your mimicry trait. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Let's see here. The way I've always played it is that they can only mimic the exact, because I've played some Kenku myself in the past. I had a Kenku bard named Creek Diddy, and his goal was to, because the reason that Kenku have this mimicry is that they're cursed. They can't speak their own tongue. They can only replicate other people's tongues, because they basically have their own voice. And he was the character was a bard who would basically just sing exactly what he heard from musicians and such. And he wanted his own voice. He wanted to make his own music. So he was like adventuring to gain his own voice and like get rid of the curse. As far as it does, everything just says imitate voices and sounds. Says here, duplicate. Yeah, it sounds like they can mimic the way that they word it. Sounds like they can mimic voices, not necessarily in the exact phrases. I personally always did exact phrases. Let's see here. They might Mercer played it. It could only mimic exactly what it heard too. Yeah, that's the way I always play it. Pierce says it's true to the lore. Sounds good. Let's do it. Let's keep it with that. They can only do exactly what they've heard. And that, that's the other thing that I was going to add in here is I was also going to give it a hindrance of quirk. Again, one of the players was talking about, that's how we would, that would be the negative aspect of the voice mimicry, the kind of counter action to it, is that you can only speak the exact phrases you've heard. Only speak exact phrases you've heard in the voice you heard them in. So that's a I'm trying to remember what let's see here. Quirk is a minor hindrance, and hindrances try to find the this would be a -1, so we're just gonna do hindrance quirk -1. Here, let's do. As far as not being strong, there's a couple things we could do here to basically kind of say that they're not strong. We could say it. So in Savage, sorry, in 5e they are medium size. Sorry, so they are medium size. However, I think because Savage Worlds has a lot more range to their sizes, I think we could technically do size -1 if we wanted to. I'm gonna leave it as a maybe, not yet. But I do think we want to make sure this one is in there, right? So right now we're at. We just looked at the wins we have confirmed. We're at +6 right now. So we still need to do not strong, frail, and size -1. Shadow Chaser says, do they need an edge to use performance as a test? No, you do not need. I would say no. I would say you do not need an edge to use performance as a test. Because I feel like the way that tests are worded in the core rulebook is that you can use any skill you want for a test. You just have to resist it, right? Yeah. Benkel says, I'd add the hindrance to the vocal mimicry description and make it 1 point to have all the rules close. Fair. So we can just do like 1. Well, here. Let's put this right here. Again, this is something we're doing for our home game. It's not something I'm going to publish or anything. I'm not too worried about it, but we'll put it up there for that purpose. I'm just put them both together right there. So yeah. Okay, so we still have a lot of things we have to get rid of. So I'm curious how you guys all feel about giving some sort of penalty to their strength, making them frail. Frail says here, what is frail? The creature is less durable than most, and they reduce their toughness by 1. Birds tend to be more frail because they have like hollow bones. I think frail kind of fits that idea. And I think they are smaller creatures. They like stand at most 5 feet. To me, means I think they come out with like a -1, but they're also about the same size as a dwarf. So, outsider, maybe outsider might work. Because I feel like, it also depends on the game. Obviously, I think that one might be a little more dependent on the setting, and in the setting that we're working in, I think they would be outsiders. So we could maybe add an outsider as well. I'll put that down here. I'm sorry. Shasha says, I like that vocal mimicry sounds like a 1-point feature because it's so limited. It's an ability that gives the character permission to buy edges and skills to use mimicry for different things. Yes, that seems good to me too. Yeah, outsider is kind of dependent. I don't know if I want to make them like always outsiders. I'm hesitant about that one. How do you guys? So right now, these are the ones I'm thinking about. Frail. Frail seems like a good one to take. So I'm gonna do frail. Frail -1. If not strong, that would be like attribute penalty. From what I'm seeing, frail is a -1, but you can take it twice, is what I'm seeing, Finkel. So it's -1, and you reduce the toughness by 1, but you can take it twice. Let me know if you're just seeing. I think I'm gonna use the latest version of the book too. Cool, good. We're on the same page. Yeah. So do frail -1. So toughness. Now, if you were doing this at home, I would say don't. You could do this at the table with your GM, but I wouldn't say do this during a session. Like maybe just something else. Oh, Lily, this is the GM for the game, so I'm gonna put in here. Just chime in. Recurrent game. The specific character probably wouldn't have outsider, but if it were building him for the first time, I would agree with outsider. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's why like I think outsider really is like a character option, not a ancestry option, because they're not outsiders where they are. I'm not. I know that some of them in the books have like inherent outsider, but I'm not the biggest fan of that because I feel like this is really too dependent on setting itself. We can go get rid of this one. Attribute penalties is a -2 for a -1, and a 3 point -3 points for a -2. I think what we're gonna do is my only fear is I feel like I would go to strength, and that does affect their damage as well. So I'm a little hesitant about that. So Peter says feathers resistant to cold from temperatures or water. Inherently, yes, but it's not something that I'm trying to go for the feeling of other how Kenku are just portrayed in D&D. Just trying to kind of figure that out. And that's not really something that they get. They don't get like resistance to snow and water and stuff. So I'm not too worried about that. I don't think that's something we're gonna add in specifically. Let's see here. Now, the one problem that D&D has is that D&D doesn't give characters a lot of problems. So I'm or kind of trying to stretch out a little bit for problems. Can't swim yet. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with any lore saying that they can't swim. Perhaps their pace and everything has been the standard pace, like as far as like how they're portrayed. So what are we at? We have a -1 for frail, -2 for attribute penalty, and we have a ravens aren't ducks. Accurate. Ravens are not ducks. Okay, so we have. If I put this here later, I'll move this down, but I'm gonna put this down here just because it's easier for me to keep track of. So I'll move that for a second. So we have -4 total, and we have 7 total up here. So we actually are really close. We just need another -1, which if we did size, that is a -1. And they have a -1 to their size and their toughness. So they are going to be quite weak at character creation. They're going to be really easy to hit. Oh, I completely missed that. Yeah. Shashi says avians have they can't swim. Oh, that's good. That's okay. Okay, so here's what we got right now. We have voice mimicry for 2 points, foraging for 2 points, which also I'm not actually sure that's a 2-pointer. Should that be 2-pointer? That's a question I have. Yeah. So that's my question right now: is should this ability, forging one of your roll, should that be 2 points? That's true. They are like edges, so it is like an edge. That's fair. Okay. Yeah. So we'll keep it then. Keep both these at 2 points then. I think this one's definitely a better one than this one. This one might be actually like almost too good, whereas this one is very niche, so they might actually kind of like even each other out a little bit there. Starting at stealth D6 instead of D4 seems good, and reliable is pretty good. The other one I'm thinking about, and this might be doing too much because I try to limit how much different abilities we have here, but if we were to add one more, I would say starts with it would be thievery D4. Thievery, which is 1 point. Starts with D4 in thievery. I feel like forging, because it's so situational, is like 1 point. However, I don't think vocal mimicry is that situational. I think vocal mimicry has a lot of things that you could do with it, because I'm allowing you to re-roll it whenever you make a noise. You know that if you're trying to make a noise, that's going to work really well. So if you're trying to distract someone, it's going to work. If you're trying to make a test, that works there. So I think there's a lot of things where you could like really build up on that ability, and because you can just build up on it so much, I feel like that it just becomes really good. Not to mention, like, I'm realizing that I think reliable gives you and I think it's as situational as reliable, actually, where it's if you're doing a support test or a support roll, not support test. If you're doing a support roll, you get a +2. Yeah, but it's only it's only performance, not taunts. I also say to make skills ancestral in general. Fair points to both. I think part of it's gonna be up to like how GMs like to let skills be used. Hmm. One free reroll on rolls when mimicking noises you've heard. That does seem really good. I'm wondering if that's. Not sure if that's. I feel like that might be almost too good. I think that's more than +2, personally. Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Trait rolls. Trait rolls or skill rolls? It is limited. It's only one free reroll. Are we saying what? Oh, like a limited free action? That might work. Yeah. Okay. So one free reroll on trait rolls when mimicking the noises you've heard as a limited free action. Again, that's probably not the right wording. I probably put limited free action at the beginning. It's like, as a limited free action, make one free reroll as a limited free action on trait rolls and mimicking noises you've heard. That's probably how you post it. But that makes sense. So we can do that. So yeah, limited seems good. So forging doesn't seem super good, but we are also making it open-ended where it's not a specific skill. So I think we'll just leave it as is. It seems fine. I think vocal mimicry is really powerful. So I'm thinking that the forgery. I think the forgery ability and the vocal mimicry ability kind of even each other out there. I'll go ahead and I'm not going to do. I'm going to leave stealth because I think stealth is one of those ones that's like supposed to be like they're really good at this. I think that's true of thievery as well, but I think we'll just leave it. I think we'll leave it at the D4, but just the stealth. Sorry, just the stealth. So yeah, again brings us to 7 points. We've got frail, which gives them minus 1 to toughness. We have attribute penalty where they have minus 2 to strength, and they have a hindrance quirk, basically saying that they can't speak otherwise without speaking in the language like someone else. And then size minus 1. So that is minus 5 to minus 7. That seems like a good balance. What do you all think? Vocal mimicry is kind of like a limited use of an illusion power. Yeah, except that you don't have to use power points. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You don't use power points. And I feel like it's more situational than illusion is, because you could, use it to intimidate someone. You could use it to taunt someone. Yeah. Benko says only a playtest will tell. Yep. This seems like a good starting point. I'll say that. And I think if I was to make this into a +4 instead, because my one fear right now is that size minus 1. Maybe I should think about changing this. My one fear right now, though, is that size minus 1 means that they have a minus 1 toughness. And then frail means they also have minus 1 toughness. So, if you have a D4 in vigor, your toughness is 0. Just as a thing to think about. Which does mean that they need to be, stealthy. They need to not get hit. They're definitely going to go, the character, the class, I shouldn't say class, sorry. The race definitely lends itself towards rogue type characters, and characters who don't get involved in combat or aren't necessarily close up in combat unless they're sneaking up on them. So I think that's definitely like the way a character should go if they're going to do that kind of thing. Anyways, I think this seems like a good start, and I think this is a good place. So I appreciate all your time and all your insights, because I think this has been genuinely helpful to getting some ideas on how we could do this. And I hope that for those who watched through, you get an idea of like kind of things that you can do inside of the Ancestry and like why you should do it. There's a lot of things we didn't really go for. We definitely made a lot of our own abilities here, but I do want to say that I think this is a very a good exercise to do to kind of get familiarize yourself with the rules, familiarize yourself with ancestries, and just how you can create them. But yeah, I hope you guys all had fun. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. And I hope you all have a great week. We're at the hour mark, so we're going to cut it short. I know we've been a little bit longer lately. But thank you all, and I hope you all have a great day. Stay savage, everyone.